Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sonia D, a woman in her late 30s who has decided to start her life over.
I wanna be my dream girl, doing everything I've never seen girl, being everything I wanna be girl, if I love myself.
If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm so glad to see you here, friend. Thank you for joining me again. If you are a new viewer, welcome to the family. And hit that subscribe button because we love to see you back here. Thank you for being a part of my journey. Thank you for tuning in. On this channel, we normalize starting life over again in whatever area, at whatever age, in whatever place you find yourself. So, welcome. So, guys, as you can tell from the subject of this video, today's episode is going to be quite an interesting one. So interesting, in fact. I had to have a beverage with me because we're going to be sipping on some tea. So I'll give you a moment to go get your own tea or your wine or your water, your smoothie, whatever it is, because you're probably going to have to sip on something. Okay, so today we are going to be touching on dating, and specifically dating in your late 30s and dating in Zimbabwe, where I find myself, right? And I really debated whether or not to talk about this, but one thing I promised myself in starting this channel is that I want to talk about the things that really matter the most to me, that have impacted me, because I know if they have impacted me, if I've had certain experiences around them, surely someone else has, and we can help each other out. So yeah, let's get into it. First things first, I decided to sort of take us on a journey, right? And I guess the first place to start is the mindset that you are in as a woman in your late 30s as you are dating, right? Let's start at the baseline where we find ourselves. And again, if you have a different thought around this, please let us know. Let's chop it up. Let's talk about it. Mindset that one is in their late 30s when dating as a woman, I would say, and I'll speak from my experience, I would say that the mindset I find myself in now is I'm not here to play games. I had the time to do that, and clearly games were played. I'm still here at 37/38, and I woke up probably about a year or two ago, and I realized, okay, girl, time's running out. This is no longer a game. Like, seriously, you need to get quite serious about what it is you're looking for, the kind of partner, kind of relationship, what it looks like, how you want to feel in it. So I feel like that's sort of the mindset that you are in at this stage. You've gone through many different experiences as a woman, especially in terms of your career, in terms of your home environment, travel probably. You've gone through things, experienced things, and now at this stage in my life, I want someone that I can share in life with. I want a companion, right? And not just a companion. I want someone that I can grow with, someone who sees me, sees all of me, because I've been doing the work, I've been doing the inner work to look at myself, look at the parts of myself I absolutely adore, and also the parts of myself that I sometimes cringe at, and still say, you know what, Sonia, I still love you, with all of that and the in-betweens. So I desire someone who's able to do that as well for me and with me, and continue to help me on my journey of growing into the best version of myself while I do the same for him, right? So that's sort of the mindset that I'm in. I'm looking to date to discover if we're aligned on values in general, in terms of what we value in life, what we want to get out of life, what we believe is important when it comes to the major things in life, like relationships, whether it's familial, friendships, working, romantic, when it comes to health, when it comes to finances, when it comes to, you know, showing up in life, your purpose, that sort of thing, right? So I have a good idea of what my values are, and I'm looking for someone whose values also align with my own. And not only that, you know, I'm looking for someone that I'm also attracted to physically. That's something I used to deny myself. I used to think, no, even if you're not attracted to him, what matters is the heart. Also, you know, at church, that's what they be preaching. Go for the good guys. And really, okay, guys, let me not knock that concept down. Yes, I think sometimes we can get caught up in the outside. However, I do feel there needs to be a level of attraction. Let me know if you agree, but like I really feel like if I'm going to be kissing you and doing things, there must be a desire to do those things, like likewise on his end. So yeah, I feel like that's the mindset I have going into dating. So that means I'm not trying to date you for a year while we're wishy-washy or talking stages. I don't believe in talking stages where you're just getting to know each other for 3, 6, sometimes 12 months. I've been there before. There was an age and a time where I had the luxury to do that. I don't, because I also would still like to start a family, and I'm very cognizant of that. So I'm looking for experiences where we get to the crux of what it is we want sooner rather than later, so we can both decide, yeah, this is probably going to work, or no, let's go our separate ways and hopefully align with someone who we can see ourselves having a future with, right? So yeah, that's the mindset I would say you might have in your late 30s as a woman. Let me know if I hit it or if I missed, what else I left out. Right. I had to sip my tea because I'm about to touch on something that might be a bit sensitive. So we've got our mindset right, so we know where we're coming from. Then there is the reality, right? So you have an ideal, you have an idea of what it is that you want, how you're going to go about getting it, you know, the kind of man, all of that, the experience that you're looking for, right? Then there is the reality, aka the pool, the dating pool, and the fish in the dating pool, right? So I am going to speak specifically to my current circumstances, i.e., where I find myself geographically. And I'm currently in Harare in Zimbabwe, Southern Africa. And I've been here for about 2.5 years. So I remember when I first moved down, right? I was coming from South Africa, from Johannesburg. And, you know, in South Africa, dating was touch and go, bruh. Like, I just couldn't get it quite right. And I also, like I touched on in my very first video, it's a time in my life where I was still figuring myself out. I was still gaining confidence in who I am and what I want and being able to articulate that. So I get why it was a bit of a fuzzy experience for me dating. I just wasn't clear. So that's what I was going to get, right? And when I moved back to Zim, I was starting to really settle into the truth that I was ready to go into the discomfort that also comes with being in a committed long-term relationship. So I feel like sometimes what takes us a while to really settle down in relationship or to find a really healthy, meaningful partnership is that we may crave the goodness of the relationship, so all that it comes with, the companionship, the laughter, the fun, you know, having someone to do things with, to talk to, and all of that. However, we may subconsciously not be ready for the work that it entails, right? And by work, I mean something as simple as allowing this person to see you, right? To see the good, the bad, the ugly about you, and to have a say in or an opinion about that, because they want you to get better, right? They want you to grow. So they're going to share. They're going to be like a mirror. And so I really was honestly not ready for that. I was not ready for the staying, even when I feel like leaving, talking through conflict. I used to avoid conflict, things like that. But when I moved back, I was starting to slowly move out of that. I was starting to do the work. I wasn't really there completely, but I had started the journey, right? So when I moved back to Zim, I was so excited because you just had men left, right, and center hollering at you, and that's the thing about Zim guys, right? They are quite the charmers. They are not afraid to make a move. They're not afraid to show you that they are interested. And they will use that money to show you that they are interested, right? And they will use that game. They will talk to you. You will know, right? And where I was coming from in South Africa, it's a bit of the opposite. The men there, I feel like they're not that strong in their masculine energy when it comes to that. They don't really chase in that way. So it was really refreshing to come to a space and a place where I was being pursued, right? So I felt attractive. I felt like, wow, I'm going to really find my partner really quickly here. This is great, right? So the reality is, after about 6 months, maybe to a year of really, really being here, I started picking up on patterns, and I was like, no, this is not what I thought, right? And so I'm going to get into the next segment of this. The types of men or the types of fish in the dating pool. And again, I am speaking specifically in Zimbabwe. My Zim sisters, my H-Town girls, please let me know if I am delusional, if I got this wrong, or if I left any type of man out, right? The first type of man that I remember encountering is one who says he has an MBA, okay? No, not MBA in terms of Masters of Business Administration. No, not a qualification, but it is an acronym for married but available. So these types of men are they're a lot, right? You will come across a lot of these types of men in Harare who are sometimes I wouldn't say most, but sometimes very confident to let you know that they are attached. They have someone. However, they are open to having fun with you. They are open to, when their wife is at home taking care of the kids and business, when they're out and having fun in the streets of H, they want someone that they can do that with, right? And they will let you, if you're available, why not? Let's do this. So that is a type of man in Harare. He sees no issue with wanting to have a second partner or whatever, right? And that morphs into the next kind of man. Hey, guys, when I came across this, I could not believe myself. I just couldn't. And this is the man who may not be as confident to articulate that he is married but available. He still maybe wants to come across as a good guy, right? And, he's the victim in all of this, or he's just susceptible to his nature as a man. And this is the man who will say to you, I believe in polygamy. I don't believe a man should have one wife. I feel like I have many facets to myself, and no one woman can fulfill all of my needs and my desires. So I need a couple of y'all, one for this, one for that. And then I am a happy man, because what you desire, your happiness, your joy as a woman, is inconsequential to my fulfillment and joy as a man. So this is the kind of guy who will, from jump, when you guys, meet, start chatting, he might ask you, what do you think about polygamy? Or he might start saying, I'm a traditional man, I'm an African man, I don't believe in this white system about one man, one woman in marriage. I don't think men were made for one woman or one man. Yeah, so that's another kind of man. Type of man out on these 8 streets. Okay, and then there is the toy boy. So these are your younger guys. And I remember, even like after moving here, I remember being hit on by a lot of younger guys. And I understand that I generally look younger than my age, so maybe also factoring that in. But no, it just wasn't me. I had other women who confirmed this, that there were a lot of young guys approaching us, older women. And the thing is, they come across as, more put together. They know what they want. They're ready for that commitment. And you start talking to them, and then lo and behold, maybe he's expecting that you guys will chill at your place, or, you are taking care of bills. And he's like, there's no real understanding of what work he does. He's a hustler, whatever. And so you quickly start to realize, okay, this little boy told me all the things that I wanted to hear, because he's under, these young ones, they've understood the mentality. They've read us. They know that we're at an age and a stage that we want to settle down. And so they will say what you want to hear and then later play their cards, right? So that's another kind of man. Then the next kind of guy, I actually had a chuckle at myself when I was writing this down, but the next kind of guy are the eligible bachelors. So the guys that you would actually consider, they've got good jobs, they're pretty decent humans, they seem to be interested in committing to one woman. However, these brothers show up just when they're engaged or about to get married. Guys, I kid you not. I don't know how to explain it, but you bump into these men and you think, oh, okay, this is a nice guy. Like, I feel like I would like to get to know him better. Only for him to say, yeah, and my fiance, or, someone to tell you that, yeah, dude is getting married or whatever. And it's not like he's outright hitting on you or being inappropriate. That's why I say eligible, right? He's decent. But for whatever reason, all the time that he was single, you guys did not meet. But the time that he decided, I'm going to put a ring on baby girl's finger, that's when you guys collide. I don't get it, but yeah. And then the final kind of guy, I labeled them, I hope I'm not mean, but the unmentionables. So these are just the men that do not deserve your time of day, do not deserve you to dwell on them. You just know from jump, just looking at them, dude, I don't just want to get in my pants, which most of the guys listed above want as well, or he just doesn't even know what he wants out of life, or he's just depressed. That's another really big phenomenon in Zim. A lot of guys are quite depressed because of different challenges in the country, which I understand, but so these are just the guys that you're not even gonna give the time of day. But yeah, that is the pool, guys. That is the pool. So you have your mindset, you know what you want, what you're looking for, you're ready to put in the work, but these are the men presented to you. Also, I have experienced being here. So yeah, another thing I really picked up on, after moving here was, I'd go out with my friends and things like that and see lots of tables with a lot of women, just women, you'd get couples, you might get a mixed group here and there, but quite a few tables with a group of girlfriends. And I used to wonder, like, why are there so many women just going out and hanging? I mean, I know we like to hang out as girls and all that, but it was just very noticeable. And I realized that, you know, in Zim, it's really unspoken, and it's not really talked about a lot, which is why I decided to do this video, really. But there are quite a number of women, especially past your 30s, who I feel get discarded because you are beyond your prime, right? And especially in a country like Zimbabwe, it's very patriarchal, very traditional. Success in the society is getting married by the time you're somewhere in your 20s, before you get to 30. And if, God forbid, you go past 30, uh, let alone late 30s, and you have not settled down, no one has taken those cows home, you're deemed used like, yeah, past your prime. You're beyond good use in a way. And so, yeah, that's another reality, is there's so many amazing women on these H streets, really qualified, educated, great jobs, and just really genuine, good-hearted ladies who desire companionship and partnership and are finding it difficult to settle down. And I think as a result, a lot of us in the society settle for nonsense. And I feel like that's why then the men in this country, in the city, feel they can get away with things like having an MBA, or, you know, just using you for your money or whatever. I was coming up with stories about what kind of setup they want in their relationship, and the woman just says, okay, at least I'll have a man, right? And so, yeah, that really saddened me, you know, to an extent. And I feel like for a long time, when all these things started to sink in, I really got discouraged, and I felt like, will I ever find someone? Will I ever meet a partner? I'm being honest with you guys, because here we're vulnerable, we're honest. And, you know, it was made even harder because a lot of the people I was bumping into, women my age, held really similar sentiments and had been through very scarring experiences with men in the city, in this country. So I was like, is there hope here, you know? And when you heard stories of the women who did get married, sometimes it wasn't even all that rosy. It wasn't always as wonderful as you would have thought. You know, someone settled or compromised. Some people were not really happy. And I want a very particular kind of partnership. I want the best, and I feel like I deserve it. And so I know it's not going to come by easy, but the environment was just very discouraging. It's the final piece of this conversation with you guys that I wanted to share is sort of the mindset I have chosen to adopt. I don't know in other parts of the world what dating is like, what it looks like for you as an older Black woman, like in your 30s, in your / late 30s. I had to have a game plan in place. You know, this channel is all about starting over, and definitely dating, relationships is a part of my life that I chose to do over again. I understood that I had dated almost haphazardly, where I was this former good girl, where I felt like if I'm kind, if I'm nice to people, if I don't do anybody dirty, God is gonna drop that good man on my doorstep, not even on my doorstep, even when I'm out, and life is gonna be hunky-dory. And so because of that, I wasn't taking the time to look at myself, you know, change the things I needed to change about myself, the way I spoke about myself or about my life, about what I wanted, being very clear about what that looked like, things like that, right? And so I realized that the way that I date needed to change for me to get what I desired. And this can apply to any aspect of life, right? So I chose to adopt certain mindsets. The very first thing that I have chosen to take on is to be unapologetic about getting to the crux of things when I initially meet someone. So, I mean, obviously, you don't want to scare the guy off and just have a military interview style sort of interaction with them. But I'm no longer afraid to ask them, are they single? You know, if I were to post a picture of us, was there someone out there who would catch feelings? You know? And so, yeah, I got more unafraid about that because I realized that I'm working on my clock. This guy may not understand that, and actually, it's not his job to understand that. I'm responsible for me. I'm responsible for my time, my body, and what it is I want. So I will have to ask for what it is I want. So that's one of the things I got really clear about, being very sure about what I need, and being able to ask for it. Honestly, guys, men tell you the truth. Whether or not they realize it, they will tell you. So, I mean, you look out for things like, for me, if I ask this question and the guy's going on about, no, I'm recently divorced and me and my ex have a child, and so we're trying to figure that out. And then when you guys are talking or you're supposed to do stuff, maybe you notice it takes long to respond to you, or he only calls you at certain points in the day and he's not available at other points, or whatever, right? You pick up on these signals. For me, that's an immediate, like, I'm not there. I'm not trying to wait and figure out what's going on with you. You're already showing me what's happening, and you've answered my question in essence. So just being alert, being switched on, and taking in the cues, you know, believing what I am shown and what is said to me, whether directly or indirectly. Loving my boundaries. So I have certain boundaries that work for me, firstly as an individual, and especially when it comes to the man that I want to settle down with, and becoming very comfortable with those and unapologetic, right? Obviously identifying areas that are open to compromise, but also the uncompromised parts of it, right? And, you know, especially as women, especially as African women, later in our 30s, I feel like we are made to feel as though we should just do with whatever comes, make do with whoever and whatever comes. And so your boundaries should not even be a thing. I actually beg to differ. I think as we get older, we actually increase in value because we've been through so many life experiences. We know ourselves better. We have done the work, and we can bring such value to the table, to this individual that we will end up with. And so I chose to stand in the truth of what I will tolerate and what I won't tolerate, and to be okay if the guy does not respect my boundary, if he's breaking it, immediately it tells me, okay, he's just not for me. It's not an attack on my personality, it's not an attack on me. Clearly what we want is just different, and that's okay. Deuces. Hopefully you find what you want, and I know I will find what I want. So yeah, just being very comfortable and unapologetic about my boundaries is something that I've chosen to take on, and it helps because you filter out those you don't want sooner rather than later, because again, at this stage we're not trying to waste time, right? So that's been really helpful for me. Another approach I've taken is letting people know, my friends, family, acquaintances, that I am looking to seriously date because I want to settle down, right? And so I'm no longer ashamed of making that known. I'm allowed to want this no matter at what age or stage in my life. And letting the people in my life know this means that I expand my chances of meeting someone, and especially meeting someone aligned with me. And this then goes back to the kind of relationships I hold, the kind of friendships I have, the spaces and the places that I am spending time in. I need to ensure that they match up with who I am becoming and the kind of life that I desire, because then I will know that they will present candidates that match that, right? So it's also, again, this is part of doing the work, being very cognizant about who who I spend time with and what I spend time doing. So let others help you, You don't have to be an island through this process. And then finally is just to be more open in terms of the kind of guy that I date. You know, when you're younger, you're much more rigid, and I feel like as I've grown older, even the race, the nationality, and the age has shifted for me. What I know and I understand what matters the most, and that's what I focus on. So there's negotiables and non-negotiables, and I had to sit with myself and be very clear, or be very brutal with myself about whether something really mattered or not. And especially, you know, I think with the times that we're living in, and as Black women, especially African women who are educated, who have done reasonably well for ourselves, we just may have to accept that the kind of man that we desire may not be ready for that. And it's okay. Again, it's not an attack on us. It's not an attack on them either. However, at the end of the day, everyone is responsible for their lives and what they, you know, bring into it and what they don't. So I just realized that for me to get what I desire and what I deserve, I need to be more open-minded. So yeah, these are what have been helping me so far, and I'd really like to know sort of the approaches you've taken in dating, mindsets that you are finding quite helpful, whether you're in ZIM, whether you're in another African country, across the globe, Europe, America, wherever you are. Please drop it in the comments. I'd really love to know. So that's it, guys. That's it. We are done. That was a fun episode for me. Really glad that you tuned in. Thank you for watching up till this point. And if you haven't done so already, remember, please subscribe, and please like, comment, share. This may be helpful to someone you know. And I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, remember, life is beautiful and you have time. Catch you later.
I wanna be my dream.